Ladies and gentlemen, this is Lions Den with another news and commentary. Um, all my YouTube subscribers, I want you to support and put hashtag free Rodney Reed. Rodney Reed is, the judge has now set a date to be executed on November the 20th. He was accused of strangling a 19-year-old white girl to death. And according to forensics and DNA evidence, it proven that it wasn't him. He didn't do this. And I got this, and shouts out to Nicole from Nicole's View because she was the first person that wants to do the story, and she wants every YouTuber to follow up. And I'm gonna be following up on this case as well. And I hope that every other popular YouTubers the same way. You know, this is important. The family wants us to help, get him exonerated for the crime he didn't commit. So this article comes from the Houston Chronicle. It said Bastrop County man scheduled for execution amid claims of innocence. And it says that a Bastrop County man who has long professed his innocence in a controversial capital murder case is now scheduled for execution after more than 2 decades on Texas death row. Rodney Reed, who was convicted of raping and killing 19-year-old Stacy Stites, is slated to die by lethal injection on November 20th, a prison spokesman confirmed Thursday. The local judge's decision to greenlight the new execution reads second in the last 5 years, come amid controversy about the timing of the state's request for a new death date 1 day earlier. The Bastrop Advertiser published a story about a protest held by Reed's family in front of the U.S. Supreme Court. My brother is truly innocent, and all the evidence proves that. Reed's brother Rodney told the paper, this fight is nowhere near over. When prosecutors filed their execution request the following day, Reed's attorney alleged it was in retaliation for the protests. Rodney Reed has consistently and diligently asserted his innocence and challenged his conviction and death sentence arising out of the 1996 murder of Stacy Stites, said Bryce Benjet, the Innocence Project lawyer handling Reed's case. The timing of the DA's request for an execution date and the pending litigation at the Court of Criminal Appeals cast a dark cloud over the validity of this execution order. The Bastrop County District Attorney's Office did not respond Thursday to Houston Chronicle's request for comment. The now 52-year-old California native was sent to death row in 1998, 2 years after Stites' slaying. According to the state's theory of the case presented at trial, Reed abducted the teen around 3:30 a.m. on an April morning in 1996. Prosecutors rely on testimony from a trio of forensic experts to show that the presence of intact sperm on the slain woman's body was proof she had sex within the past 26 hours. That ruled out Reed's defense that he had consensual sex with her days earlier. In the years since Reed's conviction, all three experts had backed away from the conclusion in their testimony. That fact, along with questions about the time of death and evidence allegedly implicating another man, has bolstered Reed's appeals and energized his supporters. New forensic evidence, which the state has not contradicted, indicates that Miss Stites was murdered at the time that her fiancé, local police officer Jimmy Fennell, testified that he was alone with Miss Stites in their apartment, Benjet said Thursday in a statement. In fact, leading forensic pathologists have now concluded that it will be medically and scientifically impossible for Mr. Reed to have murdered Miss Stites. I'm going to stop you right there. It shows, ladies and gentlemen, that physical evidence proved that Mr. Reed didn't kill her. Now, other stories has reported that he and Miss Stites had an affair, and the fiance had contradicting stories. But it's been also been told that the evidence has been immiscible in court. But this is ridiculous. So I'm going to continue in reading this. It said Reed won late stay in 2015, but this time the court has not sided with him and in June, the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals rejected his latest claim. Still, his lawyer claimed that the setting of his execution date at this time both unusual and inappropriate, and said they plan to take the matter up to the U.S. Supreme Court. Reed is among the 10 Texas men with execution dates set this year. The next on the calendar is Dexter Johnson, a brain-damaged multiple killer from Houston, who's scheduled to die on August 15th. And that's the end of the article. Ever since Donald Trump, ever since the U.S. Supreme Court, bring back the death penalty, that means a lot of people who's accused of crimes in the 90s and early 2000s and now has been set execution dates. This is one of them. Now, again, Rodney Reed just had consensual sex with a 19-year-old girl, which, of course, she was engaged of an ex-police officer, ex-cop. Now, there's evidence proving that Rodney Reed, didn't even strangle this girl to death or murder this girl. But, I guess the judge, I guess his attorney tried to prove it, and I guess it's been inadmissible in court. So what we're seeing is that you got an ex-cop who has contradicting stories of what happened that night, but they're not going to put him as a prime suspect because he's an ex-cop, and they always take care of their own, just like I said. But this is very important because the Reed family want this man to be free. So again, I want to say the shout out to Nicole from Nicole's View for this story, and I'm going to follow suit. I'm fighting for justice to free this man, Rodney Reed, and he is innocent of all charges of the rape and murder of Stacey Stites. So tell me what you think. Like, click, subscribe, and remember to click the notification bell for all the news and commentary. With that being said, this is Lions Den signing off. Deuces.